เควิดีโอนี้จะยาวชั่วโมงครึ่งเพราะว่าเราจะอัปโหลดวิดีโอก่อนหน้านั้นเสร็จพอดีเราต้องไปรีเซ็ต YouTube โอเคไปเราน่าจะจบเกาะนี้วันนี้แหละเข้าเมืองเอดินเราเข้าไปแล้วเดี๋ยวอาจจะวิ่งข้างบนอีกชัวร์เลยอุ้ยอุ้ยอู้หูยาวยาวไป
You hear? Gatberg opened its gates to the Black Lads, surrendered without a fight. They take the young and strong as slaves, leave the elders to starve and win. Elves and dwarves, dirty non-humans, took sides with Nilfgaard. Then of a sudden, hit us from the back. Elves and dwarves.
เอฟเฟกต์ไฟมันจะเป็น3D นะ
Was here, just a week past. That was a mill. An inn. Out more than ashes now.
And of the people, not a trace. Not even the bodies.
Yes, both element on the same row. Melee power equal. After 2 turns on start absorb fire on opposite row. On the border, unit cover.
Army's a waste of time for one like me. Left, right, left, right.
One bullet's all I need.
Give me a target. I will list to your command.
อ๋อ
I'm a monster.
พัซเซิล
Left, right, left, right. Again and again and again. Army's a waste of time for one like me.
One bolt all I need. Give me a target.
เย่ไว้ได้ครับไพ่แต่ไม่หมดไม่ต้องพูดว่าไอ้สกิลหมีอ่ะไม่ค่อยมีประโยชน์
Look to the high road. The earth furrowed by wheels, hooves. The black clouds went at Rosberg with all their strength. An ominous sign.
For Nilfgaard, I'd say. The fortress boasts 2 new towers, a deeper moat, gate of wrought iron. It cannot be taken.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Okay, จะหมดแล้ว แซนด์วิชบัตตัน4ไม่ได้ในผลของเราใช้ไปก่อน
Army's a waste of time for one like me.
นี่2 คน
Company! Forward march!
Aye. Armor won't say.
'Left, right, left, right.
Watch your heads!
เย้ออกอีกนึงเลยดีไหมมี9สู้กับ10
For Demavend!
บนไปเลย
Again and again and again.
One bullet's all I need. Should have listened to me, old lady.
You must sweat like a swine in that jacket. Tell me you jest.
Army's a waste of time for one like me. Left, right, left, right.
My spirit's willing and how, but these damn boots are killing me.
Use this. Not sure for what yet.
ใช่มาก
We must trust each other.
There's a time to reap, a time to sow, and a time to die.
Catch!
Oh, มีอะไรอีกมา ก็
Ugh.
เราไม่เห็นได้การ์ดใหม่บ้างเลยได้อะไรบ้างไหมก็มีอยู่แล้ว2 อันเนี้ยก็ดีอยู่แล้วโอ้มีอะไรอีกเป็น Airline Pay from Hand ก็คอมโบกับไอตัวหมาทั้งหลายแหละเนี่ยเรื่อง
What happened here?
Sadly, it was Rayner who met with surprise. 100-yard gap gaped in the unbreachable walls of Rosberg. The fortress itself was aflame, spewing black smoke into the sky.
I don't... How? It can't be!
There was no time to consider her question, for Nilfgaardian scouts had spotted Meave's company. The Queen knew battle was inevitable, so she gave the signal to form a defensive line, then drew her blade.
Sorry, Butler.
Your Grace, Nilfgaardian fighters remain in the city.
You mad? Don't say that! That was not in the spellbooks.
Give me a target.
Scheiß! In time!
Bloody Horsens. They'll pay for this.
Off to the front yet again.
Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth?
เฮ้ยโอ้
Quiet, or the Commissar will hear.
Left, right, left, right.
Scheiß! Im Train!
I refuse to believe it. The king could not have died here.
Again and again and again.
Off to the front yet again.
Army's a waste of time for one like me.
We'll catch them all!
What do you want of me?
This could hurt.
Arbalist to your command.
Pass ไปแล้วไง
Discipline shall bring us victory.
Left, right, left, right.
Should have listened to me, old lady.
Company, forward march!
I'm a man, sir. This harvest will be reaping black-clad heads.
Watch for Demoven's banners! If he's here, we must find him!
The Lyrians met one note of luck in this song of woe. Rosberg had fallen, yes, but the Nilfgaardians, not expecting reinforcements from the south, had stationed only a small detachment to hold it. Meve led her men to victory and retook the fortress. Or rather, what was left of it. What they did not demolish during their assault, the Nilfgaardians burnt once inside the city. Countless charred corpses of both defenders and peasants seeking shelter from the invaders lay among the blackened ruins. Some had tried to shield their children from the fire with their own bodies. To no avail.
Gods be damned!
The Queen cried, pounding her fist against the wall. Meve was about to give the order to move on when she caught a stifled whimper coming from a pile of rubble. Her soldiers ran to the rescue, their bare hands digging through the fiery bricks.
Here!
He's alive!
The man they pulled from the ruins had suffered horrible burns. His face was a stew of seared flesh and pus-filled boils, and he reeked of burnt meat. Seeing Black Rayla, the poor soul staggered to his feet and lifted a shaking hand in salute.
Engineer Lieutenant Xavier Lemons, reporting for duty.
Medic! Send for a medic!
Lemons! What the devil's happened?
I know not. East Tower. I led the defense. Heating oil to tan Nilfgaardian hides. A catapult struck. The cauldron tipped, burst into flames. The rest, I cannot say.
The fortress fell.
Fell? Damn Scoia'tael.
What was that?
Our preparations were perfect. A month, 2 we could have lasted, but traitors were among us. Elves, dwarves, planted charges on the buttresses. An explosion shook the tower, a hole gaped in the wall. Our men threw themselves in, filling the breach.
Vermin, filthy, rotten vermin.
I know you suffer, soldier, but Queen Maeve wishes to meet with your sovereign, Demavend. We must know what's become of him.
Gone, luckily. He oversaw the preparations, then returned to Aldersburg. 3 days past.
Then let us do the same. Reynard, prepare our departure.
Hold your grace. Did anyone survive? Anyone at all?
The Nilfgaardians might have taken prisoners. There's hope.
How could they? An entire detachment? An entire city? The animals.
Soldier, my medics will tend to you as best they can. Then we can escort you home if...
This is my home, Your Grace. Rosberg. I beg you, let me join your company. Let me exact revenge.
I respect your fighting spirit, good man. But in your state...
Your Grace, I can hold neither shield nor sword, but I can still fight in my own way. I'm an engineer. I build siege towers, ballistae, bridges, whatever you wish. I pray, grant me a chance.
Such pain, such ferocity resounded in Xavier's rasping, distorted voice that Maeve could not refuse his plea. Once the medics had bandaged his wounds, Maeve's men set out towards Aldersburg, following Demavend and the Nilfgaardians. At one point in their journey, Black Rayla rode up next to Maeve. The warrior's lips were a thin line, bitten to blood.
Milady, the road to Aldersburg leads through Moulderwood, where Eldain Scoia'tael prowl. Same filth who killed my men and delivered Rosberg to the Black Butchers.
Rayla breathed deeply to steady her furious, shaking voice.
Please, milady, I ask you upon the holies, let us find them and destroy them.
Maeve gave a slight nod. It seemed the road to Aldersburg would prove long and full of challenges.
A pity Willem is not with us. Were he to see what lies before our eyes, caught a whiff of the burnt bodies, perhaps he would see with whom he now consorts, whom he allowed in our home with nary a fight.
If it be your majesty's wish, I shall send a rider to the prince with her.
I wish nothing of the sort. I will not correspond with the enemy.
See you.
Yes?
This Eldain. Could you tell me about him?
He should hang.
I'd hope to hear advice that will be useful to us in battle.
First of all, you can't rightly trust the bastard. He doesn't respect our laws, doesn't share our morals. The king once dispatched an envoy to Eldain, despite my advice to the contrary. Found the envoy the next day, eyes gouged out, shaft of his white flag jammed down his throat.
Oh.
So, diplomacy is clearly not the wisest course. But what of battle? What tactics does he employ?
Like all elves, he's a worm. Avoids open confrontation, sets ambushes, attacks from the shadows, from midst the trees. It would be best to burn this whole forest to the ground, deprive him and his folk of cover, any place to hide.
Sounds rather drastic. Like tossing the babe out with the bath.
Believe me, they'd not hesitate to do the same to us. Not for a moment.
Rayla, how are you holding up?
Not certain I understand what you mean.
All Eldain is aflame. Nilfgaard's banners fly over its cities. Don't tell me you're not troubled.
Of course I'm troubled. I stationed at Rosberg for 5 years. Knew all on the crew there by name. But that's war. That's its nature. No sense bemoaning it.
I see. Just know if ever you wish to talk.
I won't, but I do appreciate your concern, ma'am.
I must go. We'll speak later.
Your Majesty, I've been meaning to thank you for allowing me to join your ranks.
Certainly, Xavier. I welcome all foes of Nilfgaard to march beneath my banner. But what did the field surgeon say? Have you not resumed work too soon?
I've strength enough to wield a hammer, though my scars still burn, and fiercely so. My lady, I've seen folk turn and frown at the very sight of me. If my appearance disgusts you, I can...
Nonsense. The Nilfgaardians, not you, should be ashamed. You've no reason to hide, no reason to cower.
Thank you, my lady. It means a great deal to hear that.
You've long served in King Demoven's army, haven't you?
Yes, Your Grace.
Why enlist at all? What prompted you to do so?
The king needed engineers. I answered the call.
Not terribly talkative, are you?
I can build any bridge, any ballista, but to talk, well, it hurts to talk.
I see. Well, do not worry. I prefer deeds to words, in myself and others. Other matters await my attention. We shall speak later.
As you wish, my lady.
จัดเรื่องใหม่ซะหน่อยนะ
Breach the wall.
Interest, but interest. So, bad.
Where's the king? Why'd he leave us a black-clad mercy? They took everything. I'd head to the wood, but my fear of the Scoia'tael. Where's the king?
Meave's ears caught the sound of a ruckus coming from the camp.
They! Retreat! Ingrid! A pox upon you all!
It was her quartermaster hurling oaths at the peasants she had freed from the Nilfgaardian slave convoy. A few had stolen supplies under the cover of darkness and escaped into the woods. Terror and dread gripped the other freed prisoners. Meve mulled over what to do with them, and Reynard, as always, offered some advice.
It is high time they went off on their own, Your Grace. They are too great a hindrance. They slow our march, divert our soldiers from more important tasks. And now this.
Gascon was listening to their conversation. Meve shot him a questioning look.
I opposed taking them in. So, for consistency, I now oppose forcing them to leave. We made their miserable lives our responsibility, did we not? Well then, that is a burden we cannot simply shrug off.
Let us not mince words. We cast off these peasants now, they shall die.
Meve said in the end.
Let them stay. But I want them watched. They cause any more trouble, military justice they shall face. Understood?
The freed prisoners sighed with relief. The infantrymen assigned to watch over them, however, grumbled their disapproval of the Queen's decision.
It is an army, not a shelter,
they said. Meve's ears surely caught the complaint. But the Queen had never let the opinions of others guide her in such matters, trusting only her own judgment.
Oh.
Not liking the looks of this,
Gascon said, furrowing his brow. Meve followed his gaze. Before them, beside the road, stood a hut with a scorched thatch roof.
Why?
Huts abandoned, yet dried fruit and mushrooms hang from the eaves. Famine raging all around and no one's been tempted. I'd send a scout if I were you.
The Queen did as Gascon suggested, and sent 3 infantrymen to reconnoiter. They entered the hut and found only silence that was soon broken by a blood-curdling growl. The soldiers ran out at full speed, tripping over their own legs. Meve drew her sword, convinced a horde of neckers or ghouls would soon attack. But her fears proved unfounded. Instead of monsters, out of the hut came a shaggy dog, a torn scrap of fabric clutched in its teeth.
Milady!
One of the soldiers began, his face red with embarrassment and his hands covering a hole in his breeches.
Was dark as a well inside, and that hound, it jumped out at us, all of a sudden biting it and snapping.
Bad boy,
Gascon said with a smile, then pulled a hunk of dried sausage from his bag. Bought by this generous offering, the dog calmed down at once. Further examination showed the dog was the hut's only resident. Like many others in Eldain, its owners had disappeared without a trace. Their loyal mutt still guarded the premises, waiting for his master's return.
Let's take him with us,
Gascon said.
Otherwise, he'll die here, of his own hunger or someone else's.
A watchful sentry like this could prove useful in our camp,
said the Queen.
Fine, he can join. But he shall need a name.
How about Reynard?
Proposed Gascon. A cheeky grin smeared across his face.
That way, he'll come when you call, sit on command, and always be a heel. Always heel, that is.
Watch your words,
said Reynard, hand tightly gripping the hilt of his sword.
or you'll learn I'm not at all as tame as you believe.
Enough, both of you. That's an order. As for you...
The Queen took a good look at the dog, who still had a scrap of fabric in his teeth.
Since it seems you've a taste for the cloth of the nether regions, I dub you... Knickers. Will that do?
The dog wagged its tail vigorously, as if thoroughly pleased with its new name. Meve's company marched off, a furry new recruit richer.
Consider pay. เมจเช่นฝักดูนั่นเล่นมีฟได้มันมีจะเป็นการ์ดอยู่ในสนามเหรอสปอนทูฟอกเล็ต
I smell a leak.
Pissing in the moat? Oh, you're dead. It's gonna be a right good levy, big and beautiful.
Life had me ploughed, now here I'm marching proud.
ตายแต่
Catch!
Don't you worry yourself, Your Grace. We'll get it done in no time.
Of course I'll manage. I trained a full week.
Pissing in the moat? Oh, you're dead.
Catch!
Have it the white of an eye from half a league away.
It's gonna be a right good levy, big and beautiful.
Left, right, left. What now?
Stop your yapping and start digging.
My.
I smell a leak.
Hey?
Life had me ploughed, now here I'm marching proud.
Gonna need 3 buckets of nails and a tub full of pegs. Don't you worry yourself, Grace. We'll get her done in no time.
Have it the white of an eye from half a league away.
เฮ้ยชิบหาย
You mad? Don't shake that!
It's gonna be a right good levy, big and beautiful. Stop your yapping and start digging.
I smell a leak.
Hey? Pissing in the moat? Oh, you're dead. It's gonna be a right good levy, big and beautiful.
Phải đâu, thế nào đâu. Bye.
Life had me flowed, now here I'm marching proud.
No.
Niamh and her companions neared the Moulderwood, a dense, ancient forest of trees whose tangled branches had witnessed the conjunction of the spheres. It was not until King Vidamont's day that a road was finally carved through the primeval thicket, significantly shortening the journey from Rosberg to Aldersberg.
Even when peace reigns, danger rules this road.
Rayla said.
Now no one dares travel it.
At the edge of the wood by the road stood an enormous willow. Its branches swept down to cover its trunk, looking for all the world like long tresses shrouding a woman's face. Niamh had an ill premonition. She did not like the sickly sweet aroma wafting from this tree, nor the metallic buzzing of insect wings. She sent a scout to investigate. He drew aside the drooping branches and stumbled back. There were men bound to the tree, covered in sap oozing from gashes in its trunk. Its heavy scent had attracted swarms of insects, flies, wasps, bees and beetles. They seethed over the bound men, crawling in and out of their ears and nostrils.
Eldain welcomes us to his wood,
Rayla whispered. Niamh stepped towards the tree and saw the men stuck to it were all still alive. Those the elves had caught recently writhed and howled for rescue. Those hanging longer merely followed the queen with half-crazed, bloodshot eyes.
Well, are you to stand there all day?
Niamh screamed to her dumbstruck Lyrians.
Free them, at once!
Her soldiers needed no more prompting and set about sawing at the ropes with their blades. As soon as they had freed the first captive, before even a word of thanks could be uttered, a flaming streak soared through the air and stuck in the tree. The oozing resin burst into flames, engulfing the prisoners as well as the soldiers who had come to their aid. Elder speech battle cries rang out from the woods as elven warriors launched their attack.
Nilcampsia! It's a trap!
Cried Reynard.
Defend the Queen!
นี่ไม่ถือเป็นเนื้อเรื่องละแล้วถ้าโกงจะหนีอาจจะหนีก็ได้
Keep your heads in the fight! They'll seek to blind us with shock and awe!
Army's a waste of time for one like me.
Nay, Dwarven Nest.
Give me a target. Left, right, left, right.
None shall tread on us!
Kill them! Kill them all!
Arbalist to your command.
Have strength, my love.
Watch your heads! Thing about slings, they hide well.
Now we will see who is weak!
Hey?
The storm is coming. Let's enjoy the weather while we still can.
Ever have a storm knock out one of your teeth? Left to Old One!
Again and again and again.
Dance of death! Ha! Ha!
We'll catch 'em all!
No time for that!
The chase is on!
Nothing personal, I assure you.
Don't let them regroup! Finish off the wounded!
ทำไมโหดจัง
The battle done, Neve surveyed the carnage, her breath still ragged. The thick stench of blood, sap, and ash she sucked in made her stomach churn and head swoon.
The Scoia'tael. I'd heard of their cruelty, but...
The queen said, sheathing her sword.
But never have I countenanced a thing like this.
Black Rayla, who had just extracted her blade from between an elven gorilla's ribs, smiled darkly.
Worst is yet to come, my lady.
The queen regrouped her forces and marched into the Moulderwood. The Lyrians sang none of their usual marching songs. Instead, they walked in silence, eyes darting constantly to their flanks.
Hear that? Nightingales. Unmindful of war, they sing on.
Those are no birds, my lady. Just Scoia'tael scouts use animal cries to communicate. Tell the men to hold to the road, my lady. Anyone wanders in the trees, they don't come out.
Neve's path took her to the village of Eichenfurt. Unlike most settlements in the area, not a single human dwelled here. Instead, only elves and dwarves sat on its porches and stared at the passing Lyrians with clear aversion. Not a single greeting was extended to their allies in arms, Not a single peddler tried to hawk their wares. The only sound was that of snapping shutters and slamming doors.
Something's amiss.
Rayla said, furrowing her brow.
Order a halt, my lady, and give me a moment to look around.
You've a quarter of an hour.
Meave said as she dismounted.
And not a moment more.
The Queen sat in the shade of a large pear tree. She shut her eyes and listened to the chirping of crickets in the grass, savoring a rare moment of relaxation. But the calm did not last. Within moments, one of her scouts returned, a certain Sergeant Niedermere. Tears streamed down his weathered, scar-pocked face.
Lady, come with us, please. You'll need to see this for yourself.
The sergeant led her to the still, smouldering remains of a mill. Her soldiers were picking things out from the ashes. When she got closer, she realized in horror they were human skulls, some no larger than apples.
Tell the villagers to gather by the well.
The Queen said in a strained voice.
Or be executed.
The elves and dwarves attempted no denials. They admitted Eldain and his Scoia'tael had helped them round up all the humans in their village, march them into the mill, then set it aflame.
They stole our lands, defiled our names, beat us, murdered us in bloodthirsty pogroms,
shouted one of the dwarves.
They had it coming to them. Got their comeuppance, I'd say.
Meave was no stranger to the cruelty of war, but the enormous evil she found in Iconfurt overwhelmed her. She felt a terrible weight on her chest, found it hard to draw breath, and her head spun. She felt she could hear the cries of humans being burned alive.
Ma'am,
whispered Reynard.
You must pronounce something.
Or simply turn the matter over to me, Your Grace.
Rayla interrupted.
I know what to do.
You know what you deserve.
Meave said.
But my soldiers are neither murderers nor executioners, and you are not my subjects. So I shall have you escorted to Rosberg. Let the authorities there mete out justice. With a noose, I hope.
The Queen chose a dozen soldiers and tasked them with seeing the non-humans of Iconfurt tried by an Edirnian judge. In doing so, she weakened her forces, but saved herself and her Lyrians from having to carry out a bloody sentence by their own hand.
ไปถึง90 นาทีนิดหนึ่งข้ามไปก็เมนเควสแล้วเรายังไม่ไปเมนเควสนะครับ
What was that?
Meave asked Reynard, who rode beside her.
A scream. A man's, I think.
Need to investigate. Gather a few men and we ride. Quickly!
The screaming came from a small settlement. When Meave rode up to its farmhouses, her horse reared and neighed in terror. Necrophages swarmed all around. The monsters surrounded a few Nilfgaardians who were trying, with no success, to chase them off with torches. Reynard swept his gaze over the carnage and said,
They cannot stave them off, and their armor is too heavy for them to flee.
Meave was uncertain at first how to act. But when she saw ghouls snatch one of the Nilfgaardians and rip him to shreds, she drew her sword.
No one deserves such a death. Not even a Nilfgaardian. Follow me! your weapons! We're here to rescue you!
Why do you help us?
One boat I need.
The chase is on!
Let the ghouls eat him up!
Silence! The Queen has made her decision.
Us or them, no other way.
Army's a waste of time for one like me.
You mad? Don't shake that!
Her Majesty knows what she's doing.
My page serves a purpose.
Left, right, left, right.
This could hurt.
There's a time to reap, a time to sow, a time to die.
Aye.
again and again and again.
Discipline shall bring us victory!
Use it. Not sure what just yet, but... Give me a target.
Arbalist at your command.
Get our asses moving.
It worked, Your Grace. The monsters flee.
The Lyrians and the Nilfgaardians fought the monsters side by side, a united force. But when the last necrophage fell, the soldiers immediately returned to their respective divisions. Meave's soldiers looked at the invaders askance, uncertain what would happen next. Suddenly, one of the Nilfgaardians broke ranks and fell to his knees.
Your Grace, I know you have no reason to trust us, but we are not enemies. We hail from Geso, a land Nilfgaard conquered and made its province. We did not ask to fight in this war by force. We were conscripted.
The soldier hefted his sword by the blade and handed it, hilt first, to the Queen.
We yearned for a way to desert, and we have found it. Your Grace, allow us to join your army. We long for the Empire's defeat every bit as much as you do.
Meave helped the kneeling soldier to his feet.
The enemy of Nilfgaard is my friend, no matter who he is or whence he hail.
The Lyrians were clearly displeased with their queen's decision. The black-clad deserters from Geso would need to earn their trust.
ดีมียูนิคอร์นอยู่งั้นด้วยชั่วโมงครึ่งพอดีวิ่งกลับไปตรงสาวันโอเคจบแค่นี้ก่อนเดี๋ยวมาเล่นต่อ